Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue mon channel. I'm here directly in Paris and I'm going to talk about how to prepare for your Paris trip with tips and things to keep in mind while I'm here and it's still fresh on my mind. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I am on, and comment for all my emojis saying bonjour Chloe. First of all, tip number one for planning your trip for Paris is if you don't want to pay for expensive price, I would recommend either buying it during the off-peak seasons. So coming during September, from September to October, so you can get the nice weather, or also coming in the springtime, which is probably going to be really good between April and May. Because once you start hitting end of May to July, prices are going to go up. So for example, me and my best friend, she found us tickets for less than $500 for 7 days. We did like 7 days in Paris, so that was a good deal. And we came during the end of August. The Olympics were over, kids were getting ready to go back to school, so it's off-peak season. So always remember, time of the year is the best. And plus, one of the things I loved about this time is the weather was beautiful. We had like 70-degree weather, 80 degrees, cool mornings, cool evenings, sitting outside. So that's what I wanted, because my birthday's in January and I knew it was going to be cold, so I wanted to come to where I can enjoy the walking around and the scenery and not have to worry about either being too hot or too cold. So time of year is very important. Let's talk about location, planning the right location. Of course, everybody wants to stay near the Eiffel Tower, but there's some other affordable areas that you can, because Paris, you can walk or public transportation. So we stayed in the Luxemburg area next to the Jardin at Luxemburg, and I loved that area because it had easy access to public transportation. We had a bus stop in front of us. Walking around our hotel was a train station, literally walking distance from like 15-minute walking distance from Notre Dame, and everyone's walking. So that's the main thing about wearing the comfortable shoes. We'll talk about clothing later, but just finding that good location. It was affordable, beautiful restaurants and sceneries right in front of us. So if you haven't seen my Paris vlog, please go back and watch it. You'll see that it was just nice, young, vibrant, a lot of people walking around. Like I said, different options of restaurants, was like McDonald's, Burger King, local cafes, boulangeries, the pharmacy. It was just a great, nice, affordable location. Plus we loved our hotel, Hotel Elisa, I think that's how you say it. Customer service are great, just wonderful. So location is very, very key. Yes, like I said, you want to stay next to those other places, like the monumental places, but they can be quite quite expensive, and they're very quite touristy. But I feel like the Luxembourg area was a really nice place for you to get that Parisian vibe that you're looking for. Let's talk about wardrobe, fashion. So of course, in my mind, when I thought about I watched a lot of vlogs before I went to Paris, because I wanted to just, especially like clothing, what to wear. And of course, you're in the fashion capital, but the regular Parisian is dressing in comfort. They're having jeans, they're having flowy dresses, depending, like I said, the season you come. So you want to wear light clothing. I said you can never go wrong with dresses. Like I said, because we came like in a transition between end of summer, fall, you had like a cute little like jacket. You can never go wrong with the blazer. But just kind of check out the weather that you're in. Comfortable shoes. Walking around is a must for you to get the vibes. So wearing comfortable shoes, sneakers. Flats are okay if you're going like slippers, if you're going like short distances, or you're just going to be going from one transportation to the other. But if you're planning on walking, a nice comfortable pair of shoes is a must. I really didn't do too much makeup here. I had to have makeup on because we're going out to eat dinner later on, but and I took some pictures earlier. But just like I said, want to blend in with the locals, and there's nothing wrong with you wanting, but you're definitely going to stand out like a there's spirit. So if you're just going to dress up for one day to take pictures, that's fine. But most of the time, I had like dresses on, or like a cute little pant set. I packed a few dresses when I was going to the Louvre, and then I also packed a dress when we're going out for dinner. So depending on what your itinerary is, I will say make sure you have comfortable shoes, and just make sure you are dressed to fit your weather and what you are doing. All right, tip number, this is just some courtesy thing. I don't know what tip number this is, but just some local courtesy things to keep in mind. You should also remember that when you're going out to eat, as far as like going out to eat, you should be able, they don't tip here. Paris is a non-tipping country. You don't have to tip. Whatever your bill is, it's all included in your amount. You don't pay taxes on things here as well. Also, one of the things to keep in mind is just kind of learning regular basic phrases. The good thing about it is that I learned some basic French. I took 3 years of French, and plus I said my husband, he's a French speaking man, so I practiced a lot of French in the house with him and with the kids. So I knew some basic terms to kind of help me get around and talk locally. It's always great and nice and sweet to greet people when you walk into, when you enter into a store. Bonjour madame, bonjour monsieur. When you leave, you take au revoir. I find asking how much something is, you say combien coûte. The time, à quelle heure. If you want to leave a place, you always place it in the signs. You have the sign that says sortie, that means to exit. You ask where the bathroom is. Things about directions, asking where the bathroom is. You say, où est toilette? Où est toilette? Where is the toilet? What are some little basic things you have to say? Oh, so for example, when you want to pay and you want your receipt, because here they're not going to automatically bring your receipt. You have to ask for your receipt, which sometimes in America they kind of get the just when you're wrapping up and they'll bring it to you. But here, they sometimes, like I said, Parisians are not in a rush. They are not in a rush. They take their nice sweet time. This is why I love it, because when I vacation, I want to take my time. So they sit and they drink and they talk, and they're not in a rush, which is great. So if you're, even when you're done eating, the waiter's gonna think you're, still need your time. So until you ask, when you want your receipt, you say l'adhésion, s'il vous plaît. That means like my receipt or my ticket, please, and they will bring it for you. Just some small little things. Like I said, I was able to talk with some of the Parisians when my friend was here, and help her out, and she wanted to read some things or say certain words. So just having the etiquette, at least try to speak the language if you can. Don't just like, do you speak English? Like that is, don't come out rude and aggressive, because sometimes that's what they think Americans are. It's just kind of like, so a lot of times when I would walk in, I would say, hey, parlez-vous anglais? And if they say oui, I say, okay, great, I'll start speaking English. But if they say no, I'll have to take my time and put my sentences together. But the great thing about it, they knew what I was trying to say, even though I'm not as fluent. But just learning little basic phrases could definitely help you out. Oh, look, when I was talking about booking your stay, just keep in mind, another little point to keep in mind, AC. Not every hotel has AC, so that was one of the main things that I made sure I looked at. So because of the weather is not so hot, a lot of Parisians like to keep their windows open. It's cool mornings, cool evenings, so they like the natural air. So places that you make sure when you're booking your hotel, you have a hotel that has AC, one. Secondly, also make sure that to keep in mind that not all trains, your elevators are going to have AC, so it can get hot. The buses don't have, some of them don't have AC, so that can feel very, very hot. So pack a fan, one of those mini fans if you have one, especially if you're coming in the warmer weather seasons. Pack a fan, just because if you get hot easily or it get irritated when you have this, having that with you will just make you feel a lot better. Restaurant. Make sure when you go to a restaurant, because I got fooled, if they bring you a basket of bread, mainly croissants, on your table, don't eat it unless you're going to pay for it. Because I went to a restaurant, they put this cute little basket. It had like 2 croissants in there. It had two pain de chocolat, which is chocolate bread. It was a croissant with chocolate inside, and I ate it. Thinking it was complimentary because I ordered some onion soup. So they bring my bill and they charged me 24 euro for it. I was like, sir, monsieur. Sorry, there's a plane flying over, that's the noise. I was flabbergasted that they made me pay for it, and now it's like, I didn't ask for it. You guys gave it to me, and they're like, oh, the guy was like, oh, this is a marketing scheme. This is how we get people to pay for it. So next time, since you ate it, you have to pay for it. I was like, wow. So the second time we went to a restaurant and the guy bought my friend some bread, that's the first thing I asked, is this free? He's like, oh, yes, madam, it's free. Why not? Oh, we will never charge you for this. I'm like, I told him the other story. He was like, oh, that's so strange. But just make sure you ask. Don't assume that anything is free. Just ask, so that way you're saving on your coins. Now, Picking your airline. We took an airline called North Atlantic. North Atlantic, for my people who are familiar with Spirit, is the Spirit version of international flights. We found our ticket, like I said, for $400 and something, which we thought was a wonderful deal. You know, if we looked earlier, it was like around 300 something per person. But the thing about North Atlantic, they have wonderful cheap flights, but your meal is not included. You have to pay for your meal. A blanket's not included, and headphones is not included. Anything extra you want, like a meal, a blanket, headphones for international flights, you have to pay for prior to. Secondly, if you don't pay for your luggage, they don't let you check in online because it's an international flight. The only thing you can do is pay for your luggage. I would recommend, if you're going to take North Atlantic, because of their cheap flights, pay for your luggage before you get to the airport because it's way cheaper. My best friend paid for her luggage online. She paid $90, which for me was too high because mostly for international flights, you're supposed to get a free luggage. But that's not it for North Atlantic. So guess how much I paid because I paid at the airport? $130. $130. That is ridiculous. But now you can see how all of that adds up to you getting a British Airways or Air France or United Airline flight or Delta. Because if you add up all that $90 that she paid, your meal, your blanket, your headphones, you're looking almost already at a $600-$700 ticket, which is actually the actual round price with the other airlines. So you just kind of have to pick your battles on what you're going to do. If you're going to fast, so you don't eat on the airplane, one thing I did, because it was only a 7-hour flight for me from going from New York to Paris, I ate right before. We had a late night flight, so I ate some pizza. So by the time I got on the plane, I wasn't hungry. I slept all the way through and I was fine. So pick your battles on what you want to do, but just be careful which airline you pick and stay away from North Atlantic unless you're ready to pay more. All right, my beautiful people, that is it. This is the wrap up for my do's and don'ts and things to keep in mind when you're preparing for your trip to Paris. I hope you found these helpful. Honestly, this has been the best trip for me because this has been my dreams. If you've been following me for a while, I've been in love with the French culture since I was a little girl, since watching Beauty and the Beast, because if you didn't know Beauty and the Beast took place in Paris, now you do because the guy's name was Garçon. But yes, I'm happy to be here, happy to share the tips. Comment below, and if you didn't know certain things that you just found out through this vlog, or if you already knew certain things, like some other things you want to add, put in the comment section. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time. I'm about to go enjoy the rest of my trip, so au revoir, à bientôt.